Hey guys, now we're going to take a look at exactly what these 8mm Mauser PPU 198 grain FMJs are composed of. So we're just going to take a look at the round in detail, pull a few apart, and see how much powder's inside and how much the projectile weighs, and just try and learn everything we can about this particular cartridge. So once again, this is the PPU 198 grain FMJ, also known as Privy Partisan. I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly. And I have chronograph tested these rounds before, and they're actually what I would consider underpowered for an 8mm Mauser load. They also have pretty bad packaging in my opinion. They just have this little piece of plastic separating the rounds, which can get kind of annoying sometimes. But anyways, let's start out by measuring some cartridge overall lengths. So our first round is coming in at 3.169. And this is inches, by the way. Let's try another one. Our second one's coming in at 3.165. Number 3, 3.166. And number 4, 3.166. And number 5, 3.165. And that's the problem with its packaging. That happens. So I'm just going to take that thing out. It's getting in the way now. I'll just grab a random one. Number 6, 3.165. 7, 3.164. And number 8, which is the last one I'm going to measure, 3.167. Wow, that's actually kind of impressive. Those were almost nearly identical in overall length. I believe that was actually less variation than our Hornady match rounds. Now let's go ahead and pull a couple of these apart and weigh the powder and projectile and get a few more measurements. Okay, we got one pulled apart now. Let's go ahead and look at what's inside. Here's our brass and of course our primer. Let's get a measurement on the brass real fast. It's coming in at 2.231. Now let's try and weigh our powder charge. And of course there's our projectile that came out. That's actually really nice looking. Nice boat tail. And it even has a cantilever. That must be how deep they seat it, I'm guessing. But that's actually a beautiful projectile in my opinion. But anyways, our powder is weighing in at 51.4 grains. And again, it is a stick powder. This one actually looks really similar to Reloader 15. Highly unlikely that that's what it is though. I'm sure it's something else because 51.4 grains is a lot. That's actually weird to me that there's that much powder, but these bullets are registering at such a low velocity. So we had roughly 51.4 grains of powder. That looks extremely similar to Reloader 15. Now what does our bullet weigh in at? And the bullet's coming in at 199.4. The box states 198 grain, but it's just short of 200 grains according to my scale. So that's actually a really heavy bullet. A 200 grain full metal jacket. Now let's pull another one apart and see how that one compares. Okay, we got another one pulled apart, and here's that one's brass. Let's go ahead and measure the length on this one. And that one is also coming in at 2.231. Really consistent cartridge overall lengths and really consistent brass length also. Now let's weigh our powder charge. And this charge is weighing in at 51.5 grains. And of course it's the same stick powder. So that charge is just slightly more than the first one. Now what about our second projectile? And that one's weighing in at 199.5. And I believe our first was 199.4. And it just switched up to 0.6. I guess my scale can't decide. But that's still really close to the first one. One last thing to weigh. The bullet, case, and powder all together. 416.7 grains for our first one. 418.4 for our second one. And we have one last thing to measure. our bullet length. This one's coming in at 1.312, and our other one 1.329, and now 1.328. The overall cartridge were almost identical in brass length, powder charge, bullet weight, but this bullet is actually slightly longer than the other one. But other than that, the cartridge is nearly identical. And let's check the diameters real fast. 322 and another 322. So that's all that the PPU 198 grain FMJs consist of. We had about 51.4 grains of a stick powder, about a 199.5 grain bullet. Overall though, I'm actually impressed with the consistency between these cartridges. We had very little to no variation between almost everything except the bullet length. So if there's any other kind of bullets you guys want to see broken down like this, feel free to let me know. But anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.